Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jennifer Bagley, the host of the Catalyst for the Trades podcast. Behind me, I have Mr. Michael Hicklin, who, there we go. This is real life. This is how we do it. We just flew in from Houston. And, I haven't moved to the office yet. He just reminded me I need to move back to my office. I've been chilling in our living room. So, yeah. He's at the microwave eating lunch. You guys, I'm really excited today. We have a special guest. This one is particularly special to myself. She is the Senior Director of our Digital Transformation Department at ZI Web Group, Miss Chelsea Nodine.
Hi, everyone.
We're letting you out of the cavern with the nerds today.
We are. I'm out of the cave. I'm in the sunlight. I don't know what to do out here.
Chelsea, you have a tremendous story actually about kind of your history into digital marketing, everything from living in Alaska to working with various digital marketing firms in multiple departments. Tell me a little bit about kind of your journey into the digital marketing space.
Yeah, so I did live in Alaska, as Jen mentioned, in a tent for 3 months, mind you. So that's a story for another time, but that was an exciting time.
I got this story on my couch with a bottle of wine one night, which was great.
It's lots of fun. But no, so I actually have biology background. I studied biology in school because when my tunnel vision 17-year-old brain said, I can't work in marketing. I have no ideas for commercials, 0 ideas. Therefore, I cannot work anywhere in marketing. That's logical. And I didn't go the traditional route of 4 years of college. I kind of went to a year of college and then worked and traveled and then went to another year of college. And finally later in 20s, I was like, all right, not like early 20s. I was like, I'm going to nail down, I'm going to finish my nursing degree and go into nursing. And, in Alaska, when you get into nursing school, you got a 1.5 year wait because you're waiting for space in the hospitals. And so in that 1.5 years, I got married, had a kid, and moved down to Oregon, where I'm from. And I was like, I'll just apply for nursing schools here. Well, I had taken so long to do this that my classes were starting to expire, my science credits. And I was like, I'm going to have to retake every science class I ever took. I've dissected enough items in my life. I'm going to go a different route because that sounds terrible. I happen to know a marketing director who was like a longtime friend, and he and I are both very blunt. And he's like, well, I have a part-time writing gig. I was like, cool. I don't know anything about that. I took AP classes, so I didn't have to take writing in college. I took technical writing for health majors. And he's like, why don't you just come in and work for 3 hours? And if it's going to work out, great. And if it doesn't work out, no hard feelings. So I walked into that interview fully expecting to be told, nope, that is not a thing that you can do, clearly. But it ended up working out, and I worked for that company on their in-house marketing team for about 3 years, ended up running a majority of their marketing stateside, as well as a team of 5 in the Philippines. From there, I went to agency life, and I have worked everywhere from social director to account management to consulting to sales consultants. Spent a good amount of time on the SEO side. And then Jennifer was like, we are putting together a new team called Transformation, and this is what I need them to do, and you need to run it. And I was like, do you have the right person? And she said, you are pragmatic, you're logical, you get stuff done, you are the right person. And I was like, well, my whole career has been figure it out because someone needed to, and it needed to get done. So this sounds like more of the same. And honestly, that's a lot of the best part is there's no playbook for what we're doing as a company, what I'm doing as a team. And it is all, okay, if there is no playbook, you need to go write one, figure it out yourself and then write the playbook for others to do it. So that is what I'm doing.
I thought it was funny. I think one night she was like, I need to better, I don't remember if it was a night or day, but we were talking and you were like, I need to better understand why you chose me for this. And this is, if you have a chance to see this woman work, she is highly, highly, highly skilled at building automations and workflows. And she's the one who took our company and moved us out of some old school project management system, moved us into Asana. And first off, she had so much OCD that she gave everybody access to be able to get in there and help. And then the second they started jacking stuff up, she was like, nope, I'm putting it on lockdown. Y'all get out. I got this. Tell me what you want. And I was like, okay,
Them all
all
out.
these, I'm literally going check. She took on this huge initiative to completely change how every single function in our entire business. It took us a year, right, to map every workflow. And she led this project. It was almost a year.
It was a year to fully flesh it out, but it was about 3 weeks from we're doing this to it's there.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we
So,
tweaked along the way.
yes. And then fully tweak. And I watched her work and saw her take and sit down with every single human being in this company and really dive in and map out, what do you do? Show me what you do. Well, where did it come from? And where does it go to? And who approves it? And how do you know if it's right? All of these pieces. And like her entire logic was designed to do the same thing, but with AI. And I saw it. I was like, she can handle these nerds because she can communicate to the entire business, knows their workflow inside and out. And I mean, she knows as much as I or anybody else does with all the AI engineers to figure out, okay, now that we've been able to automate workflows within Asana for everything, what does it look like if you start taking that function, that role, or sequence of roles or department or organization and go, now how do I rebuild that with AI?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I think it comes from like maybe a little bit of laziness of like, I don't want to do this repetitive stuff all the time. Like, how do I make a tool do this for me? And I think in a lot of ways, I've been like that for most of my career of like, this is why I dug in and learned Asana automations because I was like, I'm manually doing the same thing like every time. Like, this is ridiculous. There has got to be a better way. We are rolling out Slack for our company right now. And I'm like the same thing. Like, how can I automate as much as possible so that we aren't having to do it manually like every single time? Because that's just a waste of time. Like we hire these really smart people and we hire them because they're smart and strategic and they can make these decisions. And then when we saddle them with all this like manual work, we're like wasting our own hires, right? Because now we're like, you're so smart and you're great. We need you to update this every single time. We need you to write this thing on every single task. We need you to like do this thing 100 times a day. Like it's ridiculous because like that's not why they wanted to come here. That's not why we wanted to hire them. So being able to find ways to like make those automations happen, make everyone's life easier, is perfect. Like I think on a company meeting recently, I said like I'm going to automate things. So I need y'all to tell me what you need automated. Otherwise, I'm just gonna make my own job easier. Like that. Like that's what I do every day. I can see what needs to be done on my side. That's what I'm gonna prioritize unless I have everybody else in our company saying like, hey, Chelsea, here's an automation idea. Hey, Chelsea, could we do it this way? Because I'm more than happy to go make everybody else's life easier as well. But I got to have the ideas from them. It's got to come from somewhere else. That's just me.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So let's break this down. We started March of last year, 2024, depending on when you're watching this. And the first kind of thing that we pegged that we were going to do is we're going to convert from WordPress to Webflow and we're going to build AI-enabled websites, right? And since then, if you were to rattle off all of the areas of the business, whether they're client-facing functions or internal functions, where are you at right now with what components of the business have been moved from manual to agentic networks so far? And then what's on your roadmap? 1, 2, 3, go.
Okay. So obviously we started with websites. And even after starting that, we have continued to refine and refine and refine. I've got someone on my team who is almost done with like an automated site generator. Basic, 5 to 10 page site.
Done. Maximilian.
Yes, so close. We just keep refining. So there's that. We are automating like our onboarding processes. We're automating like the way that projects are even like built in Asana. We're automating help desk processes from requesting to communication back and forth with clients and our developers. We've automated like our SEO process. We've built an entire agentic network out for doing better, deeper research than we're able to do manually and getting better results because we're able to scale it, right? Like a human can only do so much per day. You add an AI agent to that, and now you're like significantly just like exploding. And even if they only get it 80% right at like scale is way better than 100% right at not scale. So we've done that for content. We've done that for our
At
local
snail's
SEO. What?
I said at a snail's pace, 100% perfect at a snail's pace.
No, not good. So a lot of those things are in process. Future things are like continuing to make our systems talk to each other. So I said that we just rolled out Slack. So I'm currently testing, like, can somebody just request a help desk change in Slack and it goes into Asana? And then my devs can work in Asana, the clients can be active in Slack, and the two systems talk to each other. So that's in process right now. Now that we have Slack, I have a lot more automations and integrations that we can do with that. My automations team met this morning. We're talking about like, how do we continue to speed up website stuff? Can we automate more? Can we automate taking the Figma file and putting it in there and kind of just build the site for us? Like, what are potential things? Can we automate all text on those? So we're not having to do any of that manually or wait until it's in our SEO network. Can we automate more on the content side? More on the research side? Jennifer and I have been working on, well, really Jennifer has been working on a prompt to completely automate all of our keyword research. Like, and again, like I've got real smart humans who have been doing that, and they've been doing it for a long time in their career, and they are excellent at it. And these AI agents do it in seconds. What would take hours for humans to do. So it's just with deeper research, deeper knowledge in one prompt, and not going to 4 different tools to pull the data and pull it together yourself, but one prompt and it runs in the background while you work on something else. Like this is the reality that we're living in, is like virtually everything can be automated.
So in our world, right, if you went back kind of historically over the last year, I'm not going to say this has been an easy year necessary. Like from your vantage point, good, bad, and indifferent, how challenging has it been to take our company from traditional to now? And I mean, when we started this, we had 320 humans in our business.
Yeah.
What do you feel like that's been? What could we have done better?
Oof, what could we have done better? That's a loaded question. I think that in a lot of ways it's been, it has been difficult. Anytime you're looking at like, okay, I've got this automation and I don't need all these humans to do it. That's a difficult decision to make as a business owner, as like somebody who's helping run the business. That's difficult to make. The thing that I think we have to remember is, one, those decisions don't start with like your high performers. They start with the people who aren't actually doing the work, right? And then the second, someone who's not, so maybe then you go to who's doing the work at a mediocre level, right? Once you've done a couple rounds of that, the writing is a little bit on the wall. So then everybody else that's still there has the opportunity of being like, oh crap.
Shit, this is our podcast. We go for it, girl. That's real.
That's like, they should have had that oh shit moment though, right? Of like, oh no, I've seen my colleagues are not here anymore, some of them. What can I do? And I think that that's been a really interesting thing to watch, is like some of those people have been like, well, then I guess I'm not going to show up either. Like, you're just going to cut my job. But we might not have if they had continued to show up, right? And then some of them are like, what do you need help with? What can I do to add more value? I had someone come to me and be like, I can work more hours, I can do more things. And I'm like, the way to show value is not by getting more tasks done and working more hours. The way to show value is, how can I automate more of what's happening? How can I enable us to handle the same or more work with the same or fewer people needed? And in like a week, I had a working automation from that guy, right? But like, so I think that at first it's like, okay, we're starting to do this. That's what makes it a little bit, I don't want to say easy. It's never easy to decide that someone doesn't have a job anymore, right? But at the same time, like, they all had a choice. I used to work for somebody who would say, I interview for my job every day. Every day I come to work, I'm interviewing for my job, right? And it kind of always stuck with me as like, not I'm not super worried about losing my job, but at the same time, like I also know if I'm not showing up every day and doing what is asked of me, like then I probably should be worried about losing my job, right? And so I think what it's done is we've trimmed the fat, we've gotten really, really lean, and sometimes you have to get a little bit leaner than what you can handle, and those people get stretched a little bit, and then you also like stress test your team and see like, okay, if we put you in a stress test, what happens? Because even if we weren't cutting to prepare for growth, like as that growth happened anyway, that's a natural stress test. So we were kind of able to simulate a stress test of like, what happens if we shrink and shrink and shrink and we automate these processes? And you know, some people sink and some people swim, and some people are like, I'm gonna help you run this.
Yeah.
And you just gotta watch for what everybody does when they're doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you feel like as a leader in the business, you manage, we've got, so everybody understands kind of how we're structured. We have 5 major divisions. We have our technology and transformation division, which Chelsea's over that, which encompasses many departments.
Mhm.
We have our product and production division, our uh, growth, which is more on the account management and sales side, and then we have our administration, finance, legal, and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So, as a leader of the organization, um, whether it's a smaller company, maybe it's our contractors that are watching this, or it's a distributor that's watching this and they're part of a larger organization. How do the leaders have to evolve um, to prepare for AI enablement across their business? Um, there's, gosh, it's just so part of me wants to be talking about like competing in the future. Like, how are you going to
Mhm.
reshape your business in the future? And then just right now, what would you recommend from a leader's standpoint for them to secure their role and add more value to a
Yeah.
business?
Yeah. So I think part of it is like you have to get started. Right? So like we've created this community, Just Start AI. The goal of that is to be like very welcoming and approachable. Like you don't know where to get started in AI, come join us because a bunch of us don't either. And we're just kind of like, I mean, there's a little blindly in the blind, but there's also like people like Jennifer and I are in there and like we are trying to lead this charge. And so we're trying to be like, how can we just educate people and not like gatekeep it, right? So I think finding a place, finding a way in your own that you can get started, joining a community like Just Start AI, that's going to allow you to get ideas, ask questions, because sometimes, like, frankly, like when all this AI stuff started, before I started looking into it, I was even a little bit like, I don't want to ask a question because I don't want to look stupid, right? And so that's really why we've created this platform is so that we can have a place for general public to join and be like, hey, I have a question. I don't know how to use ChatGPT. Cool. So let's show you. That's fine. It's a no judgment zone. So that's definitely find a place where you can learn and grow. That's definitely a huge one. I also think like, figuring out the way that I would get started with any kind of automations is what do you do that's repetitive that like I have smart kids, but I always say like if I can teach my 16-year-old to do this, I don't need a like college educated human to do it. Like I really just don't.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Um, and so I think like anytime or if you're doing anything that's like repetitive and like it's the same over and over, and you could write an SOP and with your eyes closed on how to do it, that's a really ripe opportunity for utilizing some kind of automation to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would look at like what kind of team is under you. Like, do you have the team supporting you to get to that goal? So, like, right when this whole department started, I kind of gained a lot of new people under me that had never managed before and had really not interacted with it a ton before either. And one of them I sat down with and I was like, what do you see? Like, what do you want to, I like to know what my people want to, where do they want to grow to so that I can support them in that if I can, right? So I started having these conversations, and one guy on my team was like, "Yeah, I don't really know. I like working here. I want to be here, but I don't like know what to do." And I was like, "How do you think AI is going to impact your role?" And he's like, "Well, my whole team's going to be obsolete in the next like couple of years." And I said, "Okay, how do you not have that happen? Like, what do you have to do?" And it was like a 10-minute conversation where I just kind of like encouraged him to like start thinking like, okay, cool. How do you not have that happen? Because if you just sit here and run your team the way that it's currently running, that's the way it's going. If you're not really intentional about growing your team with where the company is growing, you're not going to have a team. And wouldn't you rather have the conversation be like, oh yeah, we definitely need them because they're super valuable with what they're doing, instead of why do we need them? Because that's like every single human in our organization gets evaluated at some point for what are they doing and why do we need them. And there are some conversations that are very easy. Yeah, no, we know that person. And there are also some conversations that are very easy as like, nobody knows what they are doing. Why do we have them? Right. So I just encourage them to be like, how do you get your team to be in the first boat of like, yes, they're super valuable humans. We're going to usher them into the future. And since then, I have watched him encourage his team, find trainings for his team, encourage his team to build automations. One of his team members got tired of doing repetitive work. And so he built a bunch of automations to just get it done. And I was like, cool. How do we now get that in an interface that everybody can be using instead of just on his local host? So like, even just kind of bringing those other people into the conversation about this is where we're going. What are you doing about it? Like, don't leave it up to me just because I'm your manager. You have to do something about it. And this guy on my team did, but that's where I would also go as a leader, is like, bring your team into the conversation and watch who rises with you.
Yeah, those will be the ones that become well, if you're teaching them AI as well, those will become your AI engineers, your best of the best of the best. They're either the best at performing the task, or they're the best at managing people who perform the task, ... that will eventually be ran by AI, or they become the human being that is developing the AI agentic platform that can then perform that function. They need to be on the engineering team.
Yep.
Which is that's an interesting transition. That's an interesting transition. So let's switch gears. Well, I just want to say on a side note, like watching you evolve has been so freaking awesome. Like it's changed the makeup of you. I see you sit on meetings and I see almost you get a little bit tense when you're listening to even another division or another department describe how they're performing a sequence of tasks or a function or a role or so forth. And I can see you pausing, leaning in, going, that entire thing can be done with AI. So how do you then start influencing other leaders? Because at some point, all the leaders in the organization have to be on the same page, or you're going to get a real big mismatch. I mean, we saw it in our own. We had leaders who were on our team at my level, even that, had one foot in and one foot out. And it was hard for them to believe something that they couldn't see and that we hadn't done. And they're no longer here. Being frank. Sorry.
I think, well, one, I stay in a lot of communication with other directors. So I'm very aware of like what problems they're facing. And I think that as a director team, we have been very intentional about trying to break down the silos between our teams. When we meet every week and we have conversations about like, how can my team support your team? Being in the position that I'm in and at the forefront like of all automations, and just in these conversations that I have with them, I'm like, okay, but we can automate that. Let me help you. And so I think like one, building that relationship with them, to where I'm not just like another director trying to come for their job and automate it. I'm like, hey, let me help you because I care about you. Right. And that obviously takes time to like build those relationships. But fortunately now I have that. And, we've got one director who is like, we can automate everything and I don't have to worry about him because I know that like, he's probably going to tell me an idea for automation. Right. Some of the other ones, I think that one, like being friendly with them, showing them what we could do, helping automate things for their team, showing up for their team and training their teams and being that support and not that like judgy, I could do that better than you. Right.
Yeah.
And like really trying to approach it from like a support and help like aspect, I think has been really helpful. And none of our directors currently are anti.
No, we're
right.
Round
Yes,
one.
we have trimmed those ones. So there's that. But definitely like having if you've ever read like the 5 dysfunctions of a team, is a really great, it's a really quick read, and it's a really great story of like how the best like leadership teams are made. And it's the concept of like everybody else at your, like all the other directors, that's my primary team. Yes, I manage teams and I have to worry about them as well, but like being as a team with my other directors, that's my like primary team. And so it really is not like well, my team's doing all the automation, so like I'm coming for yours. It's kind of like, cool, like how do we just help each other? Because there could be like guys, to make this automation work, I have like 500 manual things I have to do this one time. Do you have anybody that can help? It kind of goes both ways, but I think like coming at it from a support like perspective has helped. And also sometimes I just have to build it and show them. Like I have also done that. I know that you're used to this one process, but can I just show you what it can do for you? And like think sometimes they need that like visual, or they may think like, oh, this is gonna take so much of my time for you to do this. And I'm like, no, I can do it. I can see it in my head how it can be done. Let me just build it and be like, hey, I built this. I think it could be useful. Here's the thing. I'll come from your team. What do you need from me? And that's helped as well.
So that brings up a good point. We should probably pause for a minute. So the term automations in the home services industry has technically been associated with Zapier, not agentic networks. So how much does CI Web Group use Zapier?
Like a tiny bit. Like I use it to make Slack and Asana talk.
Yes.
But that's the only time I personally used it. Like we just don't use it because Zapier is good at connecting information between platforms. Right. But agents go way deeper than that. They are crawling the web, finding all the data. Like it's so much more beyond a Zapier function.
Yeah. So when we're talking about automations, we are not talking about Zapier workflow automations. We're talking about building agentic networks, an orchestrator, managers, task managers, ICs, the individual contributors, auditors, framework, everything, right?
You can think of it like if you mapped out any kind of workflow, like each step in that process is an agent. So if my like content research, okay, well, I need one agent to go find the keywords. And then I need another agent to find all the traffic that's related to those keywords. I need another agent to find like what is the intention behind those keywords, and et cetera, on and on and on. And then I need another agent to put it all together in a package formatted for what I need. Right. So like each little step of those processes are an agent, and they are like highly focused on this is my job. This is what I have to get done. Right. And they're not ones that are going to be distracted by TikTok on their phones. Right. You know,
they
they're
don't
not ones that are going to be like,
all night.
yeah, they're not going out late and sleeping in the next morning. Right. No, these are like hardcore workers who are just constantly like doing their stuff. And so like they're the greatest little workers that you can have. They might not always get it right, but that's when you have to go back and train them. And that's, I think, one of the best things about AI, especially for Zapier, is you can't just go tell Zapier, hey, do it this way next time. No, if you don't want it to do that, you have to go in and like reconfigure everything. And then like, you know, so it's all manual. You can tell the AI, hey, next time I want it this way. Hey, don't name these things this way. Hey,
you can you can build an agent responsible for auditing the work of another agent and reassigning it and giving it a pass or fail grade.
Yeah.
It gets smarter over time, which imagine having a human being that didn't sleep, didn't get sick, didn't take vacation, 24/7, 365. It learned on its own. It learned from itself. You can retrain it tomorrow. You can create a training agent, right? I know it's really hard for people to process, but this is an entirely different world. So that's a lot. We've covered a lot, and I know we could go even further into how do you start, how do you even approach this with the humans? But let's switch gears because a whole portion of what you guys have been building and have deployed has been the worker bees, these AI agents that do the work for our clients.
Yeah.
That used to be a large army of humans and used to be 1/100th of the work. Like, what does that look like with Cortex, Pulse, Local, and so forth now? And I'll just throw it out there that I watch all the chatter online, and it's interesting because I just watched another marketing agency this morning. They posted, don't fall for the okie doke or something. You can't automate marketing. There's no such thing as automating SEO. And if they say they're an AI marketing company, it's BS and run. And I was like, all right. Right. Chelsea's going to get a funny, evil laugh right now.
So much chatter.
So much chatter.
But that's where you got to let them chatter while you go to work. Like, that's what we did.
Yeah. Heads down. So talk to me a little bit about, some of our agentic network as far as delivering the services for our clients and what you've seen. I mean, we only launched this publicly, we're in September, so
2 months?
6 weeks ago.
Yeah, not very long.
What have you seen? What happens with the results?
Yeah. So as we've talked about, like, it can do our same automations like so much faster. And I think that the thing is, like, it's not just AI decide for us. It's here's the prompt. Here's what we want, right? You don't hire somebody and be like, okay, go to work.
Yeah.
Maybe as like a senior leadership a little bit, right? But like you have to give them some direction, and AI is just the same. It's just faster, right? And so what we've seen is that like tasks that are tedious but necessary, like writing meta titles and descriptions for 500,000 pages on your website, is the click of a button and it's done. And it just does it for you in the background, right? Writing image alt text.
Yeah.
Which is, you can have hundreds of images on your site, right? And alt text is important for some SEO value, but also for accessibility, right? Click of a button. So instead of like having all these humans do it, as I said, like when we're starting to build these out, we're looking at what are the suggestions that it's giving us. Okay, now if we didn't like it, it's not just, just edit it. It's change the prompt, right? How can you teach it to give you a better result next time, right? So we change the prompts, and we're not done. Like the more things that we learn, the more we feed back to it, and it learns as well, right? So do we get better results now? 100%. Are they 100% all the time? No, they're not. Like just reality is they're not perfect, right? And so we still have to teach it more. But even if, like I said, if we get 80% of it right at scale for 500 pages, now we're getting like, we used to say SEO takes like 3 months. No, SEO takes like 3 weeks, right? Like realistically, we have clients that are getting like, it starts with impressions and then you get the traffic and then you get the leads. Like it's kind of like a build-in. But we have clients that are getting like increased leads like right away. And it's just like insane results. Like, I mean, I can give traffic and impressions to a client until I'm blue in the face. And if they're not getting any more phone calls, they don't care at all. Right. And so that's, I think the biggest thing is we wanted to be perfect before so that we could get them all these leads. But if you're, like I said, perfect on 10 pages versus perfect on 80% on 100 pages, you're still getting more with the 100. So our clients' results have gone through the roof. Our time to do it has drastically plummeted. Right. So we're able to take that same group of people and optimize a lot more clients instead of having to focus a lot of effort on a fewer sites that weren't performing. So we can do all of our optimizations very quickly and then spend the rest of our month looking at, okay, who's the ones that need more attention? We now have the time to give them the attention that they need. And that's just like our basic SEO platform. On our like Pulse, our daily blogging one, like that thing freaking builds a whole 30-day calendar for you. You set that up, you give it the right data, and it builds a whole 30-day calendar and it will auto-publish for you. And it will tell you, we see it again, like for those first few blog posts get like less than 10 impressions. They're real, real low. But like by the time you've done this for 30 days, your impressions are like in the, tens of thousands, and you're starting to get some clicks and your rankings are going up from these blogs. And clicks only tell part of the story, right? Because so many searches are now click lists. Google wants to keep you on their own platform. Well, part of their platform is Google Business Profile, which is where we see a ton of interaction and leads coming from, which brings me to our third product is Cortex Local, which is again, like, just like you have to touch your website on a regular basis to Google to pay attention because it's going to crawl if it crawls and it doesn't find anything, it's going to crawl like longer between crawls, right? Google Business Profile is the same way. So our Cortex Local platform, again, like instead of our team having to manually ask for photos, it's prompting for photos. Instead of our team having to like add logos on some photos or put together videos, the platform is deciding for you, like, okay, here's how often you should post to get the attention that you need. We're going to add logos to some photos so it looks a little bit organic. It's not just straight all logoed photos. We're going to build some videos for you and we're going to post them. And oh, by the way, we're going to ask and answer questions in a drip fashion, so it continuously updates so Google pays attention. Like these things are just doing so much more at scale. And could I have humans to do that? Yeah. And the cost is astronomical to have a human do what the AI is doing for the same exact cost and the same exact like effort. So now I've got people that can set it up and watch it. Like you don't set it and forget it. You want to watch because, as I said, like Asana is perfect and it can go haywire. So you do want to have people like looking at it, watching it, but like instead of like, 10% of our clients taking all of our team, now like 10% of our team is getting all of our clients, and then we can do more.
It's freaking awesome.
It's completely flipped. Yeah.
You and I have both been in SEO forever. We're used to all the SEO is the long game and it's a marathon, not a sprint. And we've been saying this our whole lives, and it's what we've seen and what we've done. At any point in time in the last year, did you think it was possible to take a new website live, or to take someone's, shitty website and be able in less than 2 months have it ranking, traffic up, impressions up, and getting new business?
In the last year, yeah, but 2 years ago, no. 2 years ago, this whole thing that we're doing was like, that sounds really futuristic. And now I'm running it. So,
it sounds like Black Hat, right? Back then, we would have said if anybody gets that kind of things, that's Black Hat SEO to get turned off. Like, right? I think one of the things that people are always curious about is they're like, your company is really focused on AI search. Like, what happens with Google? What have you noticed when we design a digital marketing strategy that is heavily focused on AI search? What has the results been for Google search?
Google search is either staying in line or getting better. Like there's not enough difference that we're losing anything from Google. If anything, like if you look at the Google search, it's changed over the last couple of years, and the things that it shows up and like wants to rank for these searches has gotten a little bit more generic. Whereas we used to want to rank like every, like AC service in this city, AC service in this city. We'd have to do that to rank for them. And now Google is like, AC repair and service, like we're going to service you in one little thing, so they're even kind of consolidating what they show clients. So yeah, we're not losing anything by optimizing for AI. And if we are, it's minimal and it's way overshadowed by the gains that we're getting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now Google's using AI too. So that's, what do you think? Yeah. So, it's been unreal. We've had websites go live and we've went from like, they came to us with a 70-page website. We launched a 1,000-page website. Previously, would you have ever said we should go from a 70-page website to a 1,000-page site on a launch? And if we did, what would you have expected would have happened historically? And then what's happening now?
So I would have said no. In fact, when I first joined this company, I think almost 2 years ago, and you all were doing that, I was like, stop that right now. We need to like phase this out. I think it was my first week here. I was like, what is wrong with you guys? Do not do this.
Why are you being that aggressive? You're going to get in trouble.
But what we saw was like, we're giving like Google too many similar phrases. So like, as I was saying, we have AC in the city, AC in the city, AC repair in the city, right? So they're all AC repair in 10 different cities, 20 different cities, whatever it is, but they're all very, very similar. And I think that what we saw was Google would be like, you can have one, maybe two, if you're lucky, right? And so we would have these sites launched, and you'd always get like an initial boost after our site is launched, and then it would really quickly start to drop off, and we'd be like, why are only 10% of our pages indexing? Like we had a lot of problems with page indexation, and we had to change strategy a little bit, which is why we started like phasing out our pages instead of launching all at once. So Definitely, if you had told me like fast forward 2 years, we're going to do it and we're going to see results and they're going to index, I would have been like, no, you're not. That's great. That's great. You can think that, but it's not going to happen. Right. So now we launched these huge sites and like you can see in our reporting which day the site launched. You can see it because it's like it's crazy. And then the first few, I was probably even still like, those are like flukes. That's
I know.
not real.
100%. I feel like I was staring at the analytics going, okay, that no way. We have A, all 1,000 indexed. B, they're ranking on AI search and Google search. And then the next week I'd see traffic skyrocketing. And then I was like, we're going to get in trouble. We're going to get in trouble. We're
I
going to
don't
get
know.
in
I
trouble.
was like, that's just from the initial site launch. It's going to drop. And I'm like, it's not dropping. It just keeps growing. This is crazy.
What is going
So
on?
it's just completely shifted. And, that could be partly because of all the AI coming out. It could be the strategy, whatever it is. It's a great recipe that we have going on right now. I'm not trying to mess with it.
It's working. It's
Yes.
working. I think a huge portion of it definitely has been the signals being passed from daily content.
Yes.
We went from being a company that blogged once a month, which I think is pretty traditional. I'm guessing that's what the majority of agencies do. And then we made a decision, like, we're going to boost it up and we're going to blog weekly every Friday.
Mhm.
We're going to have new content. And then now we're psychotic and we're blogging every single day.
Yeah.
Uh,
But the
what have you,
results are like, we wouldn't do it if it wasn't driving what we wanted to do.
it's working.
Yeah.
It's working. It's working. It's freaking,
Yeah.
what the hell? It's working.
And it's not, if it was Black Hat, that'd be one thing, but we're doing all the things we're supposed to be doing, just more of it.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. So when SEOs are saying it's just the same strategy and nothing's changed, there's a little bit of something to that. I wouldn't completely agree with that by any means. But when you're working with an AI-enabled marketing agency that's not just human beings, we can do all of those same things significantly faster and a lot more of them.
Yes. A lot more of them for sure.
A lot more of them. Okay, I know this is a lot of information for everybody that's watching, and like we haven't even covered like 1/10 of what I think Chelsea and I should cover. But kind of, where would you wrap this up for anyone that is out on the hunt? They're looking for a marketing agency to work with. They're trying to figure out all this AI stuff. How would you sum everything up? Because I know this is uncomfortable for a lot of people and very, very, very new. It's new for us. But what would you say?
Ooh, that's a great question. I might just come back to just start. Like, if you don't know, ask questions, because like there are, there's a ton of marketing agencies out there, obviously. And, if you're unsure of like how to get started or who to get started, like that's where I would go, because there's people in there that are doing a lot of different things. You've got traditional agencies happening. Some of them are working with us. Some of them aren't doing a lot of marketing and they're just kind of dipping their toe into AI, right? But like you have to just get started at some point, because AI is here whether we like it or not, right? Like traditional agencies are going to have to evolve or get left behind. That's the reality of like what we're living in right now. We're just like, we want to go first.
We want to be first.
And so it does sometimes make us sound like a little far out there, because we are trying to go first on a lot of these things. But I think like Just Start AI is a really great place to have the conversation, get kind of warmed up, be able to ask questions from not just like us, but like like I said, we have clients in there. Like, you guys know, if you're a client of somebody and you don't like them, you will tell people. Like,
Yeah.
like we're not paying them to be in there. We're like,
No.
hey, come join our community because it's cool. Like, otherwise we'd only have our own clients in there, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's where I would start.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, even with us, we have 1,000 clients. So we still have clients that have not upgraded to our AI
Yeah.
platforms too, and they're still running the old way. We can literally pull up all our analytics in an aggregate report, and we can show you, here's all our customers that aren't getting on a strategy call and that are still going the same route, same process. They're in an old WordPress website, which is fine. They've got weekly blogging. They're not on our AI platforms compared to our own clients. So in our own world, we can see like a drastic difference in those that still haven't moved over to our AI platforms versus those that have. So you're even going to get two different, vantage points or perspectives within our own client base because we can't get them on a freaking meeting. Meetings. I'm going to be grumpy here in a minute. They're reaching out to you for a reason. Stop
But
ducking
now
into
with our clients on our new platforms, we don't necessarily want to get on meetings for those either because they just get an automated update and they can see it right there.
Yeah, that's a huge point. The whole moving to Slack out of Basecamp, like I guarantee you, anybody that's watching, you probably actually don't want those 1 hour long meetings sitting in with an account manager and like pretending like you can't read. You just want results. So we don't let's stop the long account management meetings, get in Slack, get on our AI platforms, and you're not going to want to sit on a call with us unless you're launching in a new market or you're acquiring a new company or you're thinking about selling your business or you want to really expand or something like that, and then book a meeting. But the rest, it's a waste of time for you and a waste of time for us. What you want is more impressions, more views, more key events and clicks. And most of all, you want more customers. And if we're making progress, then we don't need to waste the time. You don't need to ask what we're doing or what got done this week or what needs to get done because you can see it on the dashboard. Go look at the report. It's a live dashboard. You can see exactly what the AI says needs to get done. You can see exactly what the AI said we got done every single day. Mm-hmm. So don't waste the time. Let's go to work. Rip off the Band-Aid. Let's go.
Yep.
Just start. Go. Let's freaking go. Chelsea, I am very, very, very proud of you. Very proud of you. I'm very proud of you for working with all those nerds though, because man, your head has to be burning the midnight oil. They're not a normal crew. All these AI engineers that we have, what time do they get their best ideas?
At night. 11 p.m.
Get on a meeting. You got to see this. Look what I just did.
Mm-hmm. I got something to tell you. And I'm like, I'm trying to go to bed. Okay, give me a minute.
We didn't include that, but if you decide you want to start an AI team in-house, be ready to run a 24-hour clock.
Or just be prepared to have your phone be going off late at night.
Yes, 2 a.m. is when they're going to want
for an 8 a.m. meeting.
No, it's a different breed of humans. Mm-hmm. They're
My
different.
team meeting is at 10 a.m. for most of them. And they roll in 5-10 minutes late. I'm sorry, I was just woke up. And I'm like, I've been up for hours.
And they just went to bed at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. If
we
they
just launched this thing. Okay.
Oh yeah. Because if they start coding at 11 p.m. and it's working and they're making progress, they're not going to stop coding until the birds are chirping and their coffee pot just went off.
Great humans, weird work hours.
Weird work hours. All right, you guys. So I hope this was beneficial. I absolutely love you, Chelsea. I'm so proud of you. I can't even. My eyeballs will get all teary. I'm so proud of you for leading this charge internally. And I'm so happy you accepted the position. I cannot wait to see where we are a year from now. It is really exciting.
It's going to be crazy.
All right, you guys. So reach out to us. You can reach Chelsea. She's on Just Start AI as well. It's free to join. Doesn't cost anything right now. So jump in there before we officially launch. And let's just start. Thanks everybody for attending. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.